It is my delight today to have with us Gary Gackstatter. He's an active artist and composer and conductor and clinician and performer, and holy cow, and he's one of the teachers at St. Louis Community College, Merrimack, as coordinator of music and conductor of the symphonic band and orchestra since 2007. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning.
It's great to have you here.
Likewise.
I feel like I've known you forever, and I've just met you just a few minutes ago.
Wow. That has to be then, doesn't it?
I guess it has to be that way. You are really the Renaissance man. Tell us about you. I've just mentioned a few of your creative facets. Who are you?
Oh, my. Wow. I would disagree on that Renaissance part. I can't do math. I think true Renaissance people can do math.
Renaissance minus one.
Yeah. I've always been active in the arts, and I've always had a very big interest in combining the arts as well. And so, went through schools as a musician and an artist, and had a double major for a while, and music kind of took over. And then through the years, I've been composing and arranging for different people, and so many people have come across my path, and that's really been a source of inspiration for me to meet these really great musicians and get them on stage and play with my groups.
So as this has all evolved, it's really sort of been a journey, as if you will. Have you had any specific mentors or influences that have put you...
Well, of course, my dad. My dad got me interested in classical music at a very early age. And even though he's not a musician, he's just kind of an amateur. But a lot of these, like I mentioned, the guest artists that we've had have been very influential to me. We did several shows years ago with Paul Winter and the Paul Winter Consort, and through him I got to meet people like cellist Eugene Friesen, who wrote a couple of symphonies for my symphony before I moved to St. Louis, and they were huge deals that incorporated a bunch of different facets. And Eugene Friesen's, he's a huge inspiration. And through Paul Winter, I got to meet people like Steve Gadd and Howard Levy and Darrell Anger, and so it's just been a evolution through the years. And then I've also worked with rock bands like Kansas and Three Dog Night, and folk people like John McCutcheon, and new age people like Barbara Higbee, and last year we had a bluegrass mandolin player named Sam Bush on our stage. And then we do some local acts too. We've done the Funky Butt brass band, and
Yes,
we've
sir.
done the Soulard Blues Band, and just anything to get them out of their comfort zone with a huge backup band, and get us out of our comfort zone of having to be glued to little black dots. And so when you put all this together, a lot of sparks fly.
Oh, I can imagine. What you're doing down there is simply wondrous. Now, you mentioned you moved to St. Louis. Where'd you move from?
I taught in Kansas, in south central Kansas. I taught at Cowley College and Southwestern College in Winfield at the same time for 15, 16 years, and was doing basically the same. That's the reason I came here. I wanted to do what I was doing there, but on a much bigger level.
And so now, how did you learn about Merrimack opening, or was it? Did
they just
contact you?
They just
or?
opened the job up, and I saw that the job requirements were basically exactly what I was doing there, and so I just came here, and it's just been wonderful.
Expanded operations.
Yeah, expanded.
How has
operations.
the department grown since you've been there?
Oh boy, a lot. All of the groups, the band, orchestra, and choir are huge now, and very, very high quality. The band's been really good for a long time. It's up to around 70 people now, and
Great.
Orchestra's getting they're all the groups are very, very fine, and we have some of the best musicians in St. Louis playing in those groups.
Now, what is your impression of Merrimack?
I love it there. I just love it. And
You look like a happy man.
because there's a lot of really great teachers, and they love to collaborate. And everybody, I haven't met a weak teacher there at all. They're all just at the top of their game, especially in the arts department. That's where I work, and all the art department, the theater department, my goodness, they do some really great stuff. And like we just had the student art show at last week, and oh man, some of the stuff that comes out of the art program there is just amazing.
Well, it just sounds like you're a very, very happy person. What do you consider to be the most rewarding part of this so far?
The Chaco Project?
The Chaco Project?
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's what we're about here to introduce our audience to here. Yes.
It's the way that you can watch things grow. You plant some seeds, and it starts to build, and then and that's true of Merrimack too. You just never know how big things are going to get. It's just it's always a pleasant surprise, and that you're working this hard, and you don't always look up and say and look back at how it was and how it is now, and you go, wow, it has been. I've been here 9 years, and we've seen some tremendous things happen.
That is so excellent. Well, now we're going to talk about that Chaco Project. We're going to talk Chaco here. And I must read to the audience just something you casually mentioned in an email to me. And this is Chaco. This is the whole nature of it, actually. And here's the quote. "This is getting really huge. So many people are contributing, so many departments on campus involved. But that's really what Chaco is, a coming together to make something lasting and beautiful. Anyone that comes into contact with it feels that." What is Chaco, Gary?
Chaco Canyon is a 10-mile long canyon in northwest New Mexico. It's in the Four Corners area. 1,000 years ago, thousands of people came to this desolate canyon and had a construction project. They built 14 what they call great houses. The two largest great houses have over 600 rooms and are 4 and 5 stories tall.
Wow.
And they built them all in line with the solar system. They're all lined up with the sun and the moon. There's a wall of one that's exactly in line with a wall of another 15 miles away outside the canyon. They had to bring everything in. There's nothing there. There's no food, there's no water. So everything had to be brought in. They built these underground circular rooms called kivas that were roofed with wood. Well, where does the wood come from?
Yeah.
The wood had to be carried in from 50 to 60 miles away. They brought over 250,000 logs into that canyon by hand, and they don't show any signs of being dragged. And they had no wheels, and they had no horses. And all of this, it's a very spiritual place. Anybody that goes there, they all say, there's something out there. Well, I want to know what that is. And I've been out in the Four Corners all my life, and they're right. There is something out there. And it's beyond words. It's beyond, the Native Americans know it. They feel it. They walk it. And a lot of this has to do with the Native American perspective on how they view the world and each other, particularly the Pueblo tribes, the Hopi and the Zuni and Navajo and Ute people. So I explored that. I stayed out there for 2 months and walked in the desert, and melodies came to me, and then it all organized itself. It all came to me with very little trouble, and I had no problem composing it. It just came right away. And it's about an hour long, and we'll have some narration in between. We'll also have projected images above the stage onto these giant screens. And photography's been contributed from all over the place. And the graphics kids at Merrimack, under Mike Swoboda, have animated these graphics. So it's kind of a sensual feeling to be. But I wanted not to be about the canyon. I don't want it to be about it. I want it to be of the canyon.
Mm-hmm.
I want that feeling that whatever that is there that everybody says is out there. It's a very spiritual place.
Want it experiential almost.
Yes. Yeah.
So it would be inappropriate really to call it a mixed media, but more of a
it's an immersion.
Oh,
you're going to
word.
immerse in Chaco
word.
Canyon.
Sounds wonderful. When can we immerse in Chaco Canyon? What is that date?
The concert is Sunday, May 8th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the Merrimack Theater, and it's free. All the events related to this are free.
That is just tremendous. And, of course, it's going to be a 3-day. We'll talk more about that. I understand you're bringing in a Native American flutist.
Probably the greatest Native American musician that's ever lived. Our Carlos Nakai is going to be our guest artist, and he helped me write some of this and has been a real inspiration to me for many, many years. He is a huge spirit. The man is just a huge spirit.
It sounds like you've had such delight, truly delight in collaboration about this whole project.
Yes, yeah, and I didn't even plan any of this. I just went out there and made no plans, made no phone calls, nothing. And every day something would happen. I would meet an archaeologist. I would meet a photographer. I would meet a scientist. I would meet a Native American. And these things just kept happening over and over again that you just can't explain. And that's how the piece came to be. It just was very organic and came up from the ground.
Just staying there in the flow, huh?
Yeah.
Marvelous. Well, I think our audience might like to hear a little bit of playing by Nakai, so I'll just go ahead and cue one up right here. We'll talk about it afterwards. And that is the first movement from Canyon Trilogy with Nakai playing R. Carlos Nakai.
Yes.
I'm saying that correctly,
You
yes. What a beautiful player. It's haunting.
Oh, my. Well, that's who he is. You know, that, as musicians, you know this. You are how you play, and you play how you are.
Yeah.
And the real piece of music that we're working on is ourselves.
Ah, very well said.
And Native Americans, they don't separate music from life. Music is life. Life is music. It's part of everything that they do. That's true of many indigenous people. Celtic, African, they all feel that way. And it's also a very spiritual thing. We have trouble talking about that because if you talk about things being spiritual, you'll get labeled as a fanatic or some kind of
or
kook.
Woo-woo.
Yeah. But we know it.
No,
musicians
we do.
know it.
We're
Musicians know it.
And artists.
Yeah, you know when somebody's playing, or we say it, oh, he's playing from the soul. He plays with a lot of heart. Well, what is that? I would like to know. And I want to make music from that place because you can tell when somebody's not making music from that place. That's what this is all about, is to get that kind of spirit into the music and out to the audience and to everybody involved.
It's just absolutely beautiful music, and I'm so excited about hearing your symphony about this.
Yeah.
Now, this has sort of taken on a life of its own because not only is the symphony on Sunday, there are 2 days of events leading up to this.
Yeah.
Tell us about this and your collaborators.
Okay. We're going to have 2 days of lectures, workshops, and films beginning on Friday at noon with R. Carlos Nakai. And there's going to be a pottery demonstration by a Merrimack instructor named Jim Iber, and he's got his students involved. They're making pottery. One of the things about Chaco is that's central to their belief system is making pottery and breaking it as part of their rituals. And then I'll give an overview and film lecture about the symphony and how it relates, and more about if you don't know anything about Chaco, it'd be a good one to go to it too. And then on Saturday, we have a guy named David Streeter. He's from Indiana, and he plays the Anasazi flute. In one of the rooms in one of the great houses, they found a room full of flutes. These flutes are about 3 foot long, anywhere from 2 foot to 3 foot long, and they're painted.
Oh,
and he's
my.
made a study of this, and he's going to present these flutes and play on them and talk about their history. Also on Saturday at 2, I'm bringing in an archaeologist named Chaz Evans. He's from Albuquerque, and he works for the Archaeological Conservancy. I went on a tour with that group, and we went to all the great houses and spent some nights in the canyon together. And this guy, he's also a musician, by the way, and so's Jim Iber. They're both musicians. And I like to hang out with people that are artists and musicians.
Yeah, you're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, and Chaz has more knowledge about the archaeological aspect of this, how they did it, when they did it, the way they did it, and we combine that with the Native American ideas on what Chaco is too. To them, it was kind of like their Eden. It was their central place. It was prophesized in their histories that they would find this canyon because there's hundreds of canyons out there. Why did they pick Chaco? So we're going to explore that. They were told to find it, and they found with signs in the sky and signs on the earth how to find this place. And so we'll talk a lot about that. Also on Saturday at 3 o'clock is another lecture by R.C. Nakai. And then on Sunday, we're going to have I'm going to do that presentation again before the concert at 1 and hear about what went into Chaco. What is Chaco? If you don't know anything about it, it'd be a great place to be. Jim Iber's going to do another pottery demonstration, and I found a Laguna Native American woman here in town named Deborah Taffa, and she's going to talk about what it's like for a Pueblo Indian woman and the traditions that they have. So it's a whole different perspective on this. And I'd like to mention that all of these events are free. Everything's free to the public.
And it's all right there at Merrimack Community
Merrimack,
College?
yeah.
Is there a particular building that we should be looking for?
Yes, ma'am. It's in the Humanities building, the west side. And some of the lectures and workshops are in HW, Humanities West 102. The concert's in the theater right across the hall. There are tickets that you get. They're free tickets. You get them at the door. That's so we can have... I'm sure this is going to be full, and we have an overflow room that this is going to be live streamed into, so you can watch the concert if the auditorium fills up. So everybody's welcome. If you come to the Sunday activities, you'll get your ticket early.
Ah, I see. Now, is there a website people can go to, or just simply search?
It'll be on the St. Louis Community College website soon. You can go to my Facebook page, or you can go, this is another thing that was such a surprise. I used Facebook to build a Chaco tribe.
I love it.
And you can go to the Chaco Canyon Project on Facebook and join the tribe. And that's what this whole thing is. We've built this. There's over 600 people in the tribe now. And
Building
they're all
a tribe from the inside out.
Yeah.
I love it.
They're contributing poetry, they're contributing artwork, they're contributing photography, all to this thing. And they're from all over the world now.
What a wellspring of energy this is.
So I'm putting the schedule and also poetry and everything goes on the Chaco Project, Chaco Canyon Project page on Facebook, and I'm not just using it to show people what I ate for lunch and stuff like that. So there's lectures, there's all maps, there's all kinds of stuff on there.
I have the pleasure of talking with Gary Gackstatter, who's one of the teachers at the Merrimack Community College, and just doing tremendous work here. And as you can tell from this Chaco Project, this is something so unusual, so absolutely outside the box, and I'm just so thrilled you can be with us this morning.
Well, thank you.
Let's hear a little bit more of Carlos Nakai's playing. What do you say?
That'd be great.
Okay, here's the second movement. The second movement of Canyon Trilogy, played by R. Carlos Nakai. How did you and he meet, by the way?
Well, I just contacted him through his management and presented this idea to him, and never heard back. And waited, I was trying to find some other Native American flute player that could read music, because they're going to have to be playing along. He's written into this symphony. It's not, he has a lot of, several solos that are improvised and things like that, but he also has a lot of written parts where we echo him and vice versa. So he's integral to this symphony. So a couple of weeks later, maybe it was a month later, all of a sudden I get a phone call, and it's his voice. And he says, yeah, I'm interested.
Wow.
So I started sending him computer files and MP3s, and he'd send them back. And then we met in Tempe, Arizona back in November, and figured all this stuff out and played most of it for him and with him. He made corrections and things like that, a collaboration on his part. He has he's done a lot of symphony shows for other projects, so he's well aware of what the problems can be, and so I had to learn how to write for Native American flute, and so he has a specific way to do that, and had to learn all of that. And so we keep up now, and we talk regularly, and he's in on it, so it's pretty cool.
That's great, and the fact that you could get him involved at such an elemental level with it too, where you can really communicate with it.
Well, everybody that plays Native American flute and knows anything about this would know his name. And everybody I keep getting these comments, I can't believe he's coming here. I can't believe you got Carlos Nakai here. Yep, he's coming.
It was just the magic. It was just the flow of the moment. What can we say?
Yeah.
Well, let's recap for everybody what this is all about, Gary, and give the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday times and so forth.
It's a exploration of a place that happened long ago and far away, about Chaco Canyon, New Mexico, and Native American belief system, Native American music. And combine that with the symphonic band, the orchestra, and the choir at Merrimack, and as well as visual images and students contributing their work from our graphics department with Mike Swoboda and Tim Linder, and our pottery department with Jim Iber, and our theater department. We have all kinds of things. And then the community and the tribe we built on Facebook, the Chaco Tribe. That's one of the lyrics in the last movement. We are one tribe.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, if you want to come and hear that tribe and join that tribe, all you have to do is to just search the Chaco Project or the Chaco Canyon Project, and you'll find it online. And I want to thank you, Gary Gackstatter, for having joined us today and telling all about what you're doing here to the Radio Arts Foundation audience. And I know I'm not alone in applauding you in what you're doing here and just celebrating what great beauty you're bringing to our world. What do you say we play out with the third movement from Canyon Trilogy? Does that sound like a good idea?
That sounds like a great idea, and thank you for having me.
You are more than welcome. We thank you for being here. R. Carlos Nakai's Canyon Trilogy, Movement 3.